evening. Welcome back to the Glazov Gang. Our gang members this evening, Rob Nelson, the author of the book, brilliant book, Last Call, 10 Common Sense Solutions to America's Biggest Problems. Nonie Darwish, modern-day freedom fighter and the author of the new book, The Devil We Don't Know, The Dark Side of the Revolutions in the Middle East. And Tommi Trudeau, introduce yourself because you don't like the way I introduce.
Humanitarian, someone who loves other, unlike you two misogynists, someone who cares for the rights of women.
Oh, now I'm a misogynist and don't love people?
Someone who loves others, humanitarian, liberal, Glazov.
I've never been called a misogynist.
All right, the left usually engages in these personal
name calling. Name calling. Name calling. Name calling.
They don't have any evidence.
Name calling. Name calling.
Glazov Gang.
Okay.
Name calling, I don't know, whatever.
Okay.
Whining.
The segment.
Show me some proof.
This segment. See no Islam, hear no Islam. It appears that soon, it's already happening in Europe, also some developments here in the United States where criticism of Islam will be a memory, perhaps, soon, the way we're going. Nonie, what's the latest developments on this?
Well, what happened is last year the United Nations had a compromise. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation wanted making the criticism of Islam practically a crime, but they compromised and didn't specifically say Islam, but they are on their way because they're relentless. They want to criminalize the criticism of Islam, and now they have passed. Last year, they have passed this law that makes criticism of religion affects human rights. So it's they are making religion, the criticism of religion, equal to violating human rights.
Well, what's happening now is if we care about the victims of female genital mutilation and honor killings and forced segregation and forced marriage in the Islamic world, we are considered the bigots and will be punished for saying
it. I agree. I don't support any of that, but how are we going to be punished?
Several European people have already gone to jail.
The United Nations.
I'm curious. Where are the laws?
It's not going to be a law, but it makes a chill on international relations.
Right.
It chills our ability. And the Obama administration, right after this bill passed last year, started deleting everything referencing Islam.
Even in the Nadal Hassan report.
In our military, they can't use the word. In Homeland Security.
So you can clarify for me, they can't what? They can't criticize Islam?
Yeah, yes.
The Organization of Islamic Conference
it's not what's happening is Obama is adhering to a UN law that's against our constitution.
Well, let me interrupt a second because the UN doesn't really make laws, so it's a resolution. It's a resolution.
It's a resolution. And
that says if you do that, it's
not good. So a lot of nations are actually following this, and it's gonna. And this is Islam works incrementally.
Yes.
So if they pass something like that, in a few years they might pass something stronger.
Well, we already saw what happened with TV, with South Park, with movies, everything.
And suddenly we're going to have Sharia blasphemy laws enforced on us.
It's already happening in Europe. Tommy, what do you make of this?
Is it all knucking futs? Yes. You have resolutions which say that a man can have sex with his dead wife in Egypt.
Yeah.
It's all crazy, but you know what? It's irrelevant. You know why? We are on the brink of a new world order. You don't have a choice about it. We're going into it, and our leader, President Obama, is going to lovingly lead us into this, Glazov, and you don't have a choice. But before we go any further...
We have a choice.
We have a
choice.
This
November, we have a choice.
Yeah, we have a choice.
Do you really think...
Well, unfortunately, let's get to that, because that's not much of a choice.
Go ahead. What were we going to say?
Yes, we have a good choice.
We don't have a good choice.
We're going to make those predictions in a minute. Go ahead.
You really think you... Okay. Choice. Okay. Let me just...
Okay. Can you hurry up, please?
I'm enjoying this, Glazov.
Okay.
I did a little research, and I got faxed to me a birth certificate.
Okay.
In the name of Jamie Glazov. A Russian birth certificate, Glazov.
Okay. Okay.
He was born in Russia.
Oh.
Is that why he looks like
He's
you
not an
said that?
American
He looks
citizen.
a little like
So you
Putin. He does.
go after my president,
he's
over-
Russian.
my
He's
leader,
Russian.
and you constantly criticize him over some birth certificate, which he has a legitimate American birth certificate, and you have a Russian birth certificate, Glazov. He has a Russian birth
He's not
certificate.
hiding
Trying to be
it.
president now, Glazov.
Can I
Trying-
answer this? Okay,
Yeah.
is this a cure?
Yeah,
for,
go ahead and answer it. Say
is-
whatever you want. Because number one, you can defend yourself and you
Okay.
can say. Just
Well,
go ahead.
watch the table, please.
Answer it.
Okay, first of all,
Just go ahead.
are you going to let me finish?
Yes.
Is this a cure for insomnia? Because this is the most
Just
anticlimactic.
for
One second.
president.
This is the most anticlimactic thing that is development that has ever happened on my show, and I don't want to be president of the United
Yeah,
States.
you just keep telling yourself that. You just keep
I
telling
don't want to be.
yourself.
I don't want to be
You
president
tell
of the
yourself
United
that,
States.
Glazov.
Okay.
You just tell
okay.
yourself that.
Okay, I don't want to be president of the United States, and it's not a crime not to be born in the United States.
I wasn't-
Yes, if you want to
I
be
wasn't
president.
born-
Okay, I don't
And
want to be president.
I know how ambitious
I
and
wasn't
arrogant
born
you
in the
are.
United
Okay,
States
all
either.
I know how ambitious and you did it to my leader. You did it to my leader, and now it's done to you. It's done
Thank you,
to
Tommy, for the cure for insomnia. Rob, go ahead about the laws on the Middle East.
Well, actually, I wanted to go back to China for a second, if that's okay. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a group called Occupy Human Trafficking, and I actually am going to post some stuff that I followed them around and learned about this. That Nike's the leading manufacturer of shoe apparel, but many shoe manufacturers do this. They use sweatshop labor, and I'm not just talking like people overworked. I'm talking people's lives stolen, their passports taken away, their sexual abuse. They live in squalid conditions. Two weeks ago, 200 people fainted in one shop. You know, it's ridiculous. And they pay them nothing, and we buy Nikes. We buy these expensive Nikes. Now, I'm using this as a point because liberal or conservative out there, this is where we come down to the choices we make. If we as individuals, if we talk about if we as consumers look blindly away from abuses like that and go, well, yeah, but I want my Nikes,
But can I
then
say
no, but
something?
then we are providing the underlying support that leads to what we were talking about in the show a couple days ago, where our government looks the other way because we need them. So as individuals, we have to start making choices as consumers and what we do that
Yeah, but
demand human rights to
I
be
was
followed.
born and raised in a third world country. Okay? And I know that some poor Egyptian go and work under horrible conditions in other Arab countries, in African countries, in Asian countries, because they're desperate. And they are under very bad conditions. But you know what? When you have no job and no food, starving children in your country of origin, trust me, there's a lot of poverty in China, and some people compromise.
No. Yes, I understand that.
For a
Nani,
salary.
I understand.
For a
Yes, but
salary.
listen, they don't make enough to barely feed themselves. And here's the point I'm making. The compromise, you're right at the crux of this. The compromise, our power, our credibility as a nation and our real strength.
Yeah,
when you talk, Jamie talks about standing
But
up for
I
things.
don't
Hold
want
on.
you to-
No, what our
because
government
that's
needs,
confused.
I'm not confused. What our government,
Cheap labor
I didn't
is
say
good,
cheap
but-
labor. I'm talking about indentured servitude. Now here's what our corporations
We
could
gotta
do.
move on.
So
Make the point
here's what
and
our
then let Nani
corporations-
counter.
okay,
But
here's what
I-
our corporations could do. They could say, we will only work with you if you provide we're not asking you to pay what you get paid here. Provide decent living conditions and a decent
No,
salary.
no, no, no.
That's the
No,
power
no,
of
it doesn't work.
consumers.
I am sorry, I disagree.
Okay, why?
Okay, I graduated from the American University in Cairo. I worked as a journalist after graduation, and I took from the Egyptian government, and I was a journalist, 16 Egyptian pounds a month, which was enough for me to drive to work and come back. And thank God my family was well off, and that's how I lived. Then Sadat brought American enterprise, American companies in Egypt, and suddenly there was Citibank in Egypt. I went to work in Citibank. Okay, I used to make literally in 77, 78, and I made $180
Okay,
a month.
please, we need to move on. Make the point, please.
$180 a month.
Okay.
This was higher than the salary of top government officials in Egypt. $180 a month. You cannot judge Nike.
Oh, yes, you
Nike
can.
salaries. I disagree.
It's human trafficking.
It's not human
Well,
trafficking.
it is.
Well,
They're
wait a minute.
fucking-
There's
their
young,
lives
there's
are
young
stolen.
little kids
Yeah,
in these forced
and there's
factories.
sexual abuse. It's
Oh,
human
no,
trafficking.
if it's slavery,
That's what it is. That's
That's
what I'm
what he's
talking
talking
about.
about.
No, if it's slavery.
There's
That's what it
forced
is.
slavery
It's
in
forced
these
slavery.
countries.
Their passports are stolen. Their lives are
they're
taken.
I thought
Okay,
they're not
all right,
paying
good.
them enough.
No,
it's not
they're,
just
they're
that.
trafficking. They're enslaved. They're
Yeah.
sexually and physically abused
You
and
two are
working
not
on.
misogynists.
Okay,
eh?
okay,
You
so
know, Mr.
okay,
Stark.
okay, Tommy.
You're not misogynist, huh?
Okay, last point. Last point of the show,
What is
please.
so
Tommy.
damn
Okay, let's
funny?
finish the show. Tommy, what do you make of also that this is also
Listen,
happening?
and
in
you know
China?
what? Your fact checkers can check this out. Okay, now China has well over 1 billion people. Okay, your fact checkers can check this out. Absolutely true. Per capita, China has less poor people, less people in poverty than the U.S. per capita.
Per capita, and the standard of living for the overwhelming majority of people in the United States is better than for the people of China, and
The
also
problem in
the
America
people.
is drugs.
Yeah, and plus the
and
people in
drugs
America.
and alcoholism produces a lot of poverty. That because we immigrants, I come to the United States. And I know people who came penniless and they're living in houses. in
And
the
they're
best
not afraid to
cities.
speak their
No.
mind, and they don't end up
And
like
they
Jen
work
Kwan Cheng.
because they get
because of-
together, they don't drink, they don't do alcohol, drugs, or anything. There is a class in America that is totally,
Thank you, Nonie.
totally in drugs and alcohol, and that's
Thank
why
you.
they're poor.
Thank you. We're out of time. And also, there's no Chen Guanchens in the United States, people in prison because of their political opinions. And thank God for the freedom in the United States.
Absolutely.
Rob Nelson, Nonie Darwish, and Tommi Trudeau, it was an honor and a privilege to have you
Thank
here.
you.
Good night.